What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Steelers Sanctuary podcast. I'm your host, Dave Rivero from SteelersSanctuary.com, and this is my co-host, David Korab. How's it going, Dave?
Yeah, what's up, brother?
It's the fallout from the 38-3 spanking the Steelers took Sunday. Hey, did you catch Mollett thing? Going off on his teammates in the locker room? That came out after our pod on Sunday. I found out about that like yesterday. I didn't realize he did that.
Yeah, dude. He went off because guys ain't taking it serious. They're on the sidelines fucking laughing like it's a joke. Some of these guys don't give a fuck about, being a Steeler and the standard and all that stuff. Some of those guys don't give a shit about that stuff. They don't care.
Interesting. I would have liked to know names. I didn't see anybody on the sideline when I was watching.
Yeah, they're not gonna name drop.
Yeah, give me some names, brother. I want to know who the fuck's laughing on the sideline. That's good on them all. That I mean, you need more players like that, right? Instead of the ones that just sit with their tail between their legs and don't do anything. You get spanked like that, you want players to be mad. You want guys just taking it.
I'd like to think that guys would be upset, not laughing, and this is great.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been just a one-off thing too. It wouldn't have pissed them off so much. It must have been an ongoing thing to get them to really.
Must have been the whole game,
right? Yeah, or at least parts of it at the end when they were getting killed. That's too bad. You don't want to hear stuff like that. Steelers worked out 5 players. I don't know if you saw it, but they're all none of them big names. But the thing about it is 3 wide receivers they worked out. That's kind of curious. Why are they working out wide receivers? They're already kind of deep. Unless Austin's further away, it's not a good sign for Austin this week if they're working out.
I try not to look into that stuff because I've done that before where I look into it like, oh no, this must mean something, and it's nothing. I think it's just a due diligence thing. I think they're doing their due diligence on certain guys that maybe they saw in college. They're like, let's give these guys a look just in case, see what they show. I think that's all it is. I think it's just due diligence. I don't think it's any reason to actually read into anything because Calvin Austin's been working out pregame with Pickett. So he says he's ready to go. I mean, I don't think he's lying. So he's ready to go and wait for them to give him the go. So, and I can't fucking wait. I really can't.
Yeah. Cut Olszewski and put the kid on the roster and let's get it over with. Stop hanging on. I don't know why they're still hanging on. If he's not going to dress, why is he on the roster? What's the point?
I agree. It really just he's just a reserve. I mean, it's just crazy how fucking bad that dude was after being a special teams Pro Bowler for the Patriots.
And he was good in preseason too, and then all of a sudden he just completely fucking fell apart. It's weird.
I don't get it. Like, I don't understand like what's happening to these guys. Like, how do we go from Olszewski is a good point. Like, why does he look like shit now? How do we go from Claypool in his first year having 11 touchdowns and looking like he's going to be an incredible wide receiver to he's shit now? The coaching is really killing this team. I'm sorry.
Man. He's regressing, and a lot of players that get in here regress. They start out good, and then they just kind of slowly fall off. I don't get it. And Claypool's the prime example, dude. He doesn't run his routes right. People are putting up clips on Twitter now. You're watching him hold up his routes, not run them.
He's getting destroyed. They're showing how he doesn't keep running. Like he I don't know. Like he doesn't. I don't think it's lack of effort. It's just that he just doesn't know to keep running or keep it.
Yeah, his feel for the game.
You remember like Ben when they won the Super Bowls, right? Like he played a lot of like a backyard style kind of play, man, run around, But the wide receivers didn't stop, man. They fucking kept running. They kept stay with their route, or they'd run back, get open. They would keep going. Chase Claypool don't do that. He runs his initial routes and then just stops. And I've seen it several times now. He'll do his initial route and then just stop. He doesn't look to get to a soft spot where he can be open. They showed that clip, Kenny Pickett, like he even gestured to him afterwards, like, hey man, keep going. But he was like, I did my route and I'm done. Like that's what he did.
What's worse, Dave, is that's part of the route is to keep going through the zones to find a hole in the zone. That's part of his job. And he just pulls it up.
He doesn't do it. He doesn't do it.
It's incredible. The guy, this is why a 6'3", 200 and something pound guy that runs 4.4 lasted all the way to the second round because people saw it. There must have been stuff like this on tape, and people were like, nah, that's not the guy. That's not the guy.
I just
because he's an athletic freak. The dude's, jumps out of the gym.
I think a huge problem when it comes to coaching is that it is being a revolving door. We're on our third wide receivers coach in 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
We're on our third or fourth offensive line coach in 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
You said only?
No, I said probably fourth. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said only. I was like,
no.
We're on our, we're on our third offensive coordinator in 5 years. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Everything is becoming a revolving door. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Canada should stay by any means.
It's got to keep revolving at this point, right? That's not going to.
But they keep bringing in guys that are not the guy. Does that make sense? We
talked about it. Bad choices, man.
We keep promoting from within at spots we shouldn't be promoting from within. And then when we do bring in guys, we bring in guys that I guess fit the system that these guys we keep promoting from within are running. And it's not working. It's not working.
It hasn't worked since 2016. I don't know what they think is going to change. They haven't won a playoff game since then. So it's like
when they brought in Haley, paid him a premium to be there, the offense was amazing, right?
Yeah. And I don't want to hear that shit that he had great players. He was a good offensive coordinator. Maybe he was a pain in the ass as a person, but he was a good coordinator.
It was, yes. It was just some of his play calls in critical situations that drove people nuts, myself included. I just noticed that with Haley, that offense was clicking. But when we transitioned from Dick LeBeau to Keith Butler, that was when the defense really started to go downhill. It was like, oh, we're leading the league in sacks. Who cares? We got our ass kicked by Jacksonville's offense in the playoffs. I don't give a fuck if you have to double the amount of all the other teams in sacks. If you're getting 42 points hung on you or 45 or whatever, the sacks don't matter, right? I mean, you want pressure, yes. But if you're still getting the shit kicked out of you, what the hell does it matter? So I just think about that progression of getting Haley and that offense still operating at a high level, as opposed to when we went to Keith Butler, our sack rate went up, but our performance as a whole, as a defense, went down. So it kind of makes me wonder, because now we got rid of Haley and in the offense since started to go down. We lost Mike Munchuk, offensive line going down. Rest his soul. The wide receivers coach that died. I forget his name. I feel bad. I forget his name.
But he was actually very good too.
But he died. What's happened? The wide receivers, they went down. It's all correlates to me. When you really look at it deeply, it's a coaching problem. It really is. And I'm not gonna let Trubisky off the hook. Trubisky just wasn't good. But it's compounded on top of the wide receivers coach, the offensive coordinator, the offensive line coach. All these guys are not good enough. And that's why this offense, and that's why these receivers and everything, all included, are just not doing well. They're not doing well. Because the wrong guys are in here. We keep promoting from within, and the guys we do bring in, it's because they're friends with the goddamn guy we promoted from within. It's not working. They need to spend money and go out there and get a legit offensive coordinator and surround him with legit wide receivers coach, offensive lines coach. They need to quit going on the cheap and buy a premium offensive coaching staff to help this offense.
Yep, I totally agree.
That's where they went wrong,
right? They're all predictable on both sides of the ball. Both coordinators, whether you want to say it's Mike Tomlin or Austin or whoever's calling defensive plays, Mike Tomlin, they're so predictable, and they're predictable on offense too. Teams know what the Steelers are going to do coming into the game. So if they don't have Ben Roethlisberger playing old Ben Roethlisberger and making amazing plays and overcoming all this stuff, or TJ Watt on defense making all his amazing plays, and carrying the team, they're exposed. They're exposed as being predictable, poorly coached groups that can't win. It's just that simple. And you're right. If they don't go out next year and hire legit, good coordinators, it's going to be more of the same that we've seen. And don't hold your breath because you'll pass out before they ever hire a new defensive coordinator. It's not going to happen. Austin's going to be the guy for a couple more years now because he's the exact thing Keith Butler was, a puppet. He does what Tomlin tells him to. He lets Tomlin call the plays and doesn't throw him under the bus and say, look, I don't know. It's not my defense. I'm not calling the plays. He's a good soldier. He stays in line, just like Keith Butler was all those years. It took till he got fired or let go or retired, or however you want to say it, before he actually came out and said, look, Mike Tomlin called the plays. He even called the plays when LeBeau was there at the end. We all knew it, but it's nice to get confirmation. So, yeah, predictable, badly coached. This is what you get. And you don't have the superhero, TJ Watt or Ben Roethlisberger, to rescue them anymore. So this is what you get: 1-4, and possibly 1-7 by the time the bye comes.
When he made the comment that he was Tomlin, when he was heavily involved in the offensive stuff too.
Yeah.
That really raised my eyebrow a little bit. Like, what? So it almost makes me wonder if that's why the offense, and I don't know how to put this other than this way. Is that why the offense is so simple? Like, is that why it's the same shit over and over and over again, because we have a defensive minded coach involved in the offensive play calling?
It kind of goes back to the Keith Butler Austin thing. Do we really know? Are we getting the full Matt Canada, or are we getting a muted Matt Canada that's listening to, Mike Tomlin tell him,
right,
let's play conservative. Let's let the defense carry us. We got a rookie quarterback.
It's back to the control thing with him. He's got to have fucking control of everything.
And if that's the case, man. Listen, I don't see Matt Canada being the answer no matter what. But
me either. But
I can see Mike Tomlin's influence holding him back. Kind of.
Maybe.
I can see.
I don't know.
We're grasping at straws, but I think, and maybe part of it when he said involved in the offense, maybe that's why he's taking ownership of the whole thing. And you know how Mike Tomlin is. He's not afraid to. The one thing about Mike Tomlin, he's not afraid to admit or take responsibility, is what I should say. He's always this guy that said, it's on me, it's on me. And unfortunately, I think it really is on him. I think you got to believe that he's involved in the strategy going into the games and how they're going to attack other teams on offense. And yeah, maybe we're going to say this to a blue in our face, Dave. He needs coordinators that know what they're doing and don't need his input. Be the CEO, be the coach. Don't be the play caller. Don't be the end all be all. Let your coaches coach. Well, since we kind of transitioned to this, let's do the Tomlin press conference. Did you watch it? He seemed a little scattered, a little all over the place. Like he was.
The whole thing was a shit show from the beginning. The mics were all screwed up, so his voice was all screwed up.
He looked, I don't know, weird.
I'm sorry. It was the same regurgitated shit he always says when they fucking lose. It's the same shit.
It is. I mean, you're right.
Like, there's this. I'm just tired of it. Honestly, I'm just tired of it, dude. It's the same shit. I have all the confidence in the world of Canada, but that doesn't mean much if you don't do nothing.
Yeah,
dude.
I had that phrase quoted in my notes because it's
like, come on, like, what the fuck does that even mean, dude? Like, you're confident, yet that don't mean anything. We don't do it on the field. You haven't done it on the fucking field in 5 games. Like, come on.
I don't know what to make of it. I don't.
And people keep asking the same shit. You talked about getting coaches. You talked about this or that was on the table. Oh, or make change. There could be changes made. There could be this, that. You didn't do shit. You moved Liao ahead of Loudermilk, who doesn't even get a helmet anyways. So what the fuck did you do? You did nothing. You moved. Literally, that's what you did. A kid that's getting a helmet got moved up higher on the depth chart ahead of a guy that was getting inactive every damn game anyways.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem. You make those kind of proclamations after the game, like there's going to be changes, then you got to follow through, or people are not going to listen to you. You got to follow through, and or don't say it at all.
It was hollow. It was a message. It was hollow.
Yep.
And I don't know. I was listening to the fan, And they had ESPN had this girl that's been there watching the game or whatever. And she says the whole problem with this team is Mike Tomlin. He is the reason. She said his message, she don't think he's getting through his team. That these players, she doesn't think these players have faith in their coaches at all.
Well, the guys have been around a while.
And that's why they're giving up.
You know, if you've been on this team since last year and you've gone through Matt Canada's play calls for, what are we talking about now? 16, 17 games, 18 games. And it's not worked. And he's calling the same shit every week after week. I saw a breakdown. He called basically the same play 10 times out of 17, I think it was, on 1st and 10. It's basically the same play every time. I can see the players losing faith in it. I can totally see it. And that's when the finger pointing starts, and that's when the thing goes off the rails. I hope to God that's not where this team's headed, but it does seem that way. A couple more losses. These guys are going to turn on each other.
Yeah. I worry about what that girl said, and I'm like, maybe she's right.
All right, let's go over the injuries because this isn't much better news. Witherspoon is he said he might stop practicing this week, but he's not going to play this against Tampa. There's no way. Cam Sutton with a hamstring. Man, what is it? What do you think? 50-50 that he'll play on Sunday?
At best.
And even if he plays, he's still banged up. He's still got a gimpy hamstring.
He won't be good enough.
No, it's not good. Minka Fitzpatrick with the knee, I'm telling you, he's not 100%. I said in the last podcast, he's not running like he usually does. Levi Wallace and Pat Frymuth in the concussion protocol, that could go anyway. They could easily miss this week. Larry Ogunjobi, knee, he'll probably play. Zach Gentry's got a knee now that we didn't hear about in the game. The two starting tight ends could be out. And Montravius Adams popped up with a hip. I don't know where that came from, but now man, it's bleak for Sunday. It really is.
Yeah, I don't see them winning this game, but
yeah,
we'll do that. We'll do that Friday, I guess, or whatever. But I just don't see it, dude. I don't see it. They've got too many injuries. Their offense is a fucking mess. I mean, the defense is a fucking mess. They don't need, even their special teams, like they had a guy out there that doesn't even know how to catch the fucking ball on the kick return.
I don't think we'll ever get to the bottom of why Pierre was the man they chose to kick a defensive back. You made the point in the last pod. You've got 5 wide receivers on the roster, on the active roster, and you go with James Pierre as your kickoff returner. What in the hell are you doing? Even the third string running back, Benny Snell, has returned kicks before. Put him in there. What are we doing?
It makes zero sense.
It's coaching malpractice right there. That's just between that and kicking field goals when you're down 30 points.
It sounds like a head coach who was too busy dealing with something else and wasn't paying attention. So
is that the special teams coach picking him, or did he just, in passing say, put James Pierre? I don't know, man.
I imagine old Bubblegum Chewer there fucking.
I don't think he would.
Just going, hey, who's got experience on kickoffs? And Pierre going, me, coach, get in there, kid, go get him. I mean, at this point, I don't know what to think. Like, when you do stupid shit like this is why we joke about this kind of stuff like this, because that's how dumb
it was. It's amazing what's going on in Pittsburgh right now. One maybe good thing, depending on how you look at it, that came out of his press conference, it seems like we're getting close to Jaylen Warren getting the starting, or at least more snaps than Najee Harris. I mean, it's good for the short term, but man, the long term, if an unrestricted, undrafted free agent, I should say, is starting over your number 1 pick at running back, that's not a good thing for the future of this team. It's just not. It's just not. You've just pissed away a first-round pick.
Right.
And I'm saying this now. I said it the day they drafted him. I've been saying it the whole time, and I'm saying it now. They pissed away a draft pick.
I got a better one for you. And I don't think this is going to happen, okay? I'm not saying I think it's going to happen. I think he's going to be really good. What if Kenny Pickett ends up this year sucking?
Even if he's good, how about this? And they say he's pretty good, and they end up with a top 5 pick.
You're leading right into what I want to talk about.
I don't want to jump your stuff, but
no. That's what I want to talk about. Like, can you imagine?
Go ahead.
Can you imagine? Like, say you got a top 3 pick, right?
Yep.
Are you telling me that if Stroud or one of those top QBs is there, you're not going to be tempted out of that class to give one a shot? Especially if Kenny doesn't do that well. And
you know what their recent history tells you?
I hope he does. But what's that?
Do you know what their recent history tells you? That they're going to pass on the quarterback because they've got their guy.
Yeah.
Even if he struggles. But if they, I don't know.
Because I'm telling you now, this is just me, and this probably I don't have this job, but still, like if I draft this kid right and he sucks ass, like say he's just putrid, horrible, whatever, and I get a top 3 pick, I'm taking another fucking quarterback, because the only way you're going to succeed in this league is if you got a fucking franchise quarterback. You have to have a franchise quarterback.
I couldn't agree more, dude.
And if he struggles that bad, right, and I get a top 3 pick, I'm taking another quarterback. Because here's the way I look at it. This is just me, whatever. I'll draft another quarterback because then I know I'm going to make sure I get this fucking right.
Absolutely, dude,
100%. And if I nail the quarterback this time, I'm trading him to somebody else.
Yes. Kenny Pickett, if let's say he had one more year of eligibility and he played one more year at Pitt for this draft class, I think he would be 6th or 7th as a prospect quarterback in this draft.
Oh, wow.
These guys are super high-end prospects. Stroud, the kid from Alabama, the kid from Kentucky now. I've been looking into this
Levis, the guy.
Yeah, Levis. Maybe 6th is strong, maybe 4th or 5th prospect in this draft class. I agree with you 100%. I was going to bring it up too. Draft the quarterback, figure out which one's the best one for the future, trade the other one, and move on. You can't get quarterback wrong.
No,
that puts your franchise back.
You got to get it right.
Minimum.
Now, I hope everybody understands that you and I are not saying that's what's going to happen. We're not saying that we think Kenny's going to suck or any of that shit. We think he's actually going to be a good quarterback.
I do.
It's just that, and I do too.
So far.
We're just stating if he isn't, if he sucks ass this season, the rest of the season, he sucks ass, and they have a top 3 pick. Me personally, I'm taking another quarterback. I'm doing it.
Absolutely.
I am nailing the quarterback position. You have to nail the quarterback position.
And it would suck because that would be their chance to get the left tackle they've always needed, or the shutdown corner that they've always needed. But it doesn't look good if you don't have a quarterback.
Everybody wants that Anderson kid. Did you see that?
I wouldn't mind that either.
Because I get it. I mean, could you imagine him opposite of TJ? Holy shit.
Yeah, but I can't see.
But we have so much more important needs right now.
Yes.
That because I think Highsmith is good enough. He's good enough as the number 2. I mean, that's just my opinion. So we don't need to draft an outside linebacker right now, or an edge, whatever.
Edge, yeah.
We definitely need offensive line help.
Yes.
We definitely need inside linebacker help. We need corner help.
We need corner help desperately.
Yes,
desperately.
We need D-line help.
Yeah.
Like those 4 things right there desperately need help.
Yeah.
So whatever the top of the board is in those 4 positions, better take one of them, because that's what you. If Kenny's legit, if Kenny turns out to be legit, then you better go that route.
See, here's the problem. Kenny's going to be somewhere in between, because the team's so bad. He's going to be pretty good and still lose games, and we're not going to be sure. And then what do you do? He could still play well and then end up with a top 10 pick, a top 6 pick. And then what do you do?
I don't think you can pay attention to losses and wins with Kenny yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think you just evaluate him versus certain things and see how he handles it. The stats ain't going to lie either for the most part. But I mean, he came in for Trubisky and put up 2 touchdowns. Marched him right down the field, 2 touchdowns, right? And we still lost, right? Because the defense sucked ass. So I don't think you can evaluate wins and losses on Kenny this year, but you can evaluate how he handles all the different things, pocket presence, accuracy, all those things, how he leads that offense in general. Those are things that you can evaluate to know whether or not you really think he's the quarterback of the future. But it ain't gonna be hard if he's like, say, he's thrown 3 or 4 interceptions and his QB rating's a 48, like Trubisky's was the one game. Like I think that'll be very telling if he's that bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't think.
But I think you're right. I think you're right though, in a way, which worries me that it's going to be one of those. He did okay.
Yeah, because it's the deck is stacked against him.
It is.
He's got a terrible offensive coordinator.
It's not fair to him.
No, it's not. He's got injuries all around him. His offensive line, I mean, we've been giving the offensive line a little credit. They've been playing better, but this is still not a great group. It's still not. So his wide receivers, other than Pickens, we don't know what the hell's going on with DJ either. He's another one that we talked about him last time. He's like, he'll make the great catch and then drop the easy one. And he just boggles my mind. So Kenny Pickett's got a lot.
Yeah. Kid's a head case.
He's got a lot going against him. So I don't know if we'll be able to make an evaluation. That's going to put the Steelers in a tough spot. Say he plays pretty well and they still have a top 3 pick. What do you do then? Do you go forward and, draft the tackle and hope you got the right guy?
No, if he plays well and like this last game, how many drops were there? 6, 7?
Yeah, somewhere.
And some of them were throws that should be caught. It would have been conversions for first down on 3rd down and 4th down. That's on Kenny. That's on the wide receivers. You evaluate that, and if you can pinpoint the defense lost this game, the wide receivers lost this game. If you're not having a bunch of games where you go, the quarterback play is what lost us this game, then he's not the problem. So then when you get that top 3 pick, it's time to surround him with an O-line, or if there's not a lot of high-ranking O-linemen at that spot, like I said, the draft value is not good there, and you can go. Or how about this? Trade that fucking pick and acquire a ton of picks to really work on fixing all the things. That's something I would be tempted. Like I'd be tempted. Like if a dude floats me a later first and a second or something like that, bro, I'm taking it. Yeah. I'm taking it because if I got my QB in the future and I know that I can fix some things with some top players in the first, second round, you go from having a first and a second to having a first and 2 seconds.
Yeah, no, they have a lot of holes because this team. But I have some notes about this team that they currently put together, and this was poorly put together team. This is the more we look at it, it's bad. We start with the edge depth. How many times did we talk about this? There was nobody behind T.J. Watt. They ignored the position. They basically ignored it, and then 2 days before the season, they're like, "Oh shit, we're thin at outside linebacker. Let's go get Malik Reed in desperation, who is awful." It was a wasted trade. We were all singing the praises of Omar Khan. Oh, we picked up a guy with 8 sacks last year. Great trade by Khan. No, he doesn't fit this defense at all. He's terrible. Then you move to the secondary, which we also complained about to no end. It was weak at best. And now you watch them, one injury to a guy who was so-so to begin with. Witherspoon wasn't playing that well before he got injured.
True.
And now you see Levi Wallace as the number 1, and you're like, holy shit, this guy can barely play. He's a 2 at best. The safety we thought was deep, but really wasn't because now Edmonds is hurt and they can't find anybody.
You know what? Norwood's disappointed me.
Norwood's been very disappointing this year. And you wonder if he just made a couple flashes and got us all excited, but he really wasn't that good to begin with.
Or if he needs to go back to corner.
Or that with the slot corner instead of starting safety probably is his best position. Mullet's been pretty good, but he's been exposed. He can't cover. He can blitz and tackle, but he can't cover anybody.
He's good in that Mike Hilton role.
Yes.
But out in coverage, he gets exposed.
So this secondary was just put out there. Why do you sign Levi Wallace when you know your secondary is poor?
Yeah, I know.
You got to go out and get it. I know they had maybe some salary cap restraints, but you got to get somebody better than that.
Not really. They had a lot of money. I mean, look how many fucking moves they made.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, so
they could have went and got somebody. There's probably somebody else better out there. They could have went and got.
They don't value the corner position.
They were hoping. I think they were hoping for like a diamond in the rough.
So I could have told you Levi Wallace wasn't the diamond in the rough, man. And I don't do this for a living. That's
no. I see what you're saying. I just I don't know, but they like to make those signings, man, where they think they get them on the cheap. They end up being solid to good. Yeah. It works out.
When was the last time that worked, though? Honestly, it's been a while.
Wow, been a while.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, Kevin Colbert was good at dumpster diving, but even he lost his touch towards the end, and now it's just all right. Let's go to the draft. there were some wasted draft picks this past year. I mean, we all love Calvin Austin. We all want to see him play, but they were 4 wide receivers deep before they drafted him. And they could have used a corner, an offensive lineman, somebody in that spot, 4th round pick. It seems like a waste. With all their holes. And then you go to, we've talked about Connor Hayward being away and Oladokin. So they wasted like 3 picks in this draft.
I know. Hey, tell me about
holes in this team. And they didn't fill those were surplus picks that,
they made picks like a team that had like it was a luxury. We have the luxury
pick. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. Luxury picks.
And they were not a team that could afford to make a luxury pick.
No.
There were guys with 3rd round grades that fell to the 6th round that they could have snagged at the linebacker position. Remember, I bitched all up and down about it.
Yep.
They could have snagged at different positions, not even just middle linebacker. That could have helped this team, made an impact. They didn't do it.
And then you go back to 2020 draft, which plays into this season. It's Najee as the 1st round pick, and we've already talked about that. Creed Humphrey sitting there, they passed on him. Wasted pick. Kendrick Green, 3rd round pick. Wasted pick. Dan Moore, 4th round pick. He's looking more and more like a bust. He's a swing tackle, is what he is. He's a backup tackle that you could put in when you got an injury and maybe you can get by a couple of games. He is not an NFL starting left tackle.
Yeah, they passed on Humphreys, and then that other one, Mearns,
that was it Green Bay took him? Somebody took him.
I think. I can't remember.
Decent too.
He was the 2nd one that they passed on. We were just like, what are you doing? Like,
Buddy Johnson's gone.
Epically screwed up. They've fucked up pretty bad last couple drafts.
Yeah, and this is why this team is in the situation it's in.
Yep. No, it's horrible.
It's between the free agent signings and the drafts. And listen, I'm the biggest Kevin Colbert fan in the world. I think he made some amazing draft picks. He did some amazing work when he was here. His last couple of years were not good. And do we go back to Tomlin again? I was reading an article where they basically said nothing happens without Tomlin's okay. Draft picks, free agent signings, right down to the meals they serve these guys. It's Tomlin rubber stamping everything or it doesn't happen. So I think a little bit on that. Kevin Colbert's got enough clout at the time where he could, make his own. I don't know if I should say that though, because he wants to give the coach the players he thinks he needs to make them better. So who knows?
Oh, they always claim that they work together on it and all that other shit. Yeah. So I don't know. I just know that they've really fucked up the last couple of years with their picks, choices they've made, and here we are.
Free agent signings, trade. It's been for a franchise who has done so well for the last 50 years, basically, of picking players with a little lull in the 80s. All of a sudden,
here's the thing, though. Everything that must come to an end. I mean, and I hate to say that, but like sooner or later, they were going to have a time frame where they happened in the 80s, and it's going to happen probably now. They're probably going to suck, and until they make some hits on these draft picks, and they make some good free agent signings, and they bring in a legit coaching staff, they're not going to be that good. I just hate to say it, but I think that's what it is. And I will say this. I mean, hey, Pickens is looking legit.
That was a good pick so far. We talked about some of his immaturity stuff that could fly off the handle at any point. But right now, I can't say a bad word about that pick. But a great pick.
He's looking like a great pick. How about how many times we have to sign a brother to the team?
That's another thing that they talked about. Luxury picks, stupid stuff like that. It's like, oh, let's bring another brother. Let's sign TJ Watt's brother. Let's draft. What are we doing here? What are we doing?
Do you know any other team that's become such a focal point?
No.
It's so I think there are 4 sets of brothers, right? Well, trio if you count the Watt. Well, I'm sorry. Never mind. Yeah. Which one where we had 3 of them? There was one. One of them had like 3 of them at one time. I don't even. I
think Edmonds' brother is gone, right? But they have a thing for this now. It's like, give me a break.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like, I get it. It's a family atmosphere, and the Steelers are a great organization to play for. But when it gets to that level, where now you're drafting and bringing in brothers just because, That doesn't make any fucking sense whatsoever.
And they're taking up a roster spot where they could find another Jaylen Warren out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Or,
exactly.
And it's just.
This is why, Dave, having said all this up to this point about this team, the way it's put together, this is why I bang the table for an Aaron Rodgers type move. Because what Aaron Rodgers brings is what Ben Roethlisberger brought. He overcomes the stupidity all around this organization. He's so good that it doesn't matter who the offensive coordinator is. It doesn't matter if Mike Tomlin's fucking up calls on defense, because he's going to make big plays and he's going to cover up for him, just like TJ Watt does. And my other point was, how much longer does TJ Watt have to be a top-notch edge? 3-4 years before he starts to fall off? This is the window for a Super Bowl. With him on defense, you have a Super Bowl defense. Adding someone like Aaron Rodgers, now you're a Super Bowl contender. I don't care how many draft picks it costs you. I don't care. Now the TJ Watt window to win a Super Bowl is, to me, just about closed. By the time they get Kenny Pickett rolling and Pickens and fix this line, it's going to be 4 years. And TJ Watt will be on the other side. And you've wasted his entire career.
Well, I think we can agree that Cole and Daniels have ended up being okay offensive linemen. I think they've done fine.
Daniels, who I was high on, looks like he's going to be a good. Cole's just a place keeper.
But he's not bad. He's doing fine.
No, well,
he got hurt.
Kendrick Green.
Now he's hurt right now.
Yeah.
So he's not doing as well right now because he's hurt.
Yeah.
But before then, he was a lot better than Green. I can tell you that much.
That's the one thing they did right this offseason. They addressed the offensive line somewhat. They didn't draft anybody, but
so I think you plug in a drafted, a top offensive lineman at, in Moore's place. You replace Dotson with another highly drafted lineman. I think now you're cooking. I think you're putting yourself in a better position, offensive line wise. Yeah, I think that next year, as long as if they can draft about 2 or 3 legit players and hit on them, I think they could be a little better. But in the end, it won't fucking matter, because if you've got the same shitty ass coaches surrounding these players, it's not even gonna fucking matter.
They can't overcome the coaching staff like an Aaron Rodgers would. And
they can't.
Don't forget, you still have Josh Allen and the Bills and the Chiefs, and now the Dolphins are coming up to overcome. And how are you going to overcome them with a second-year quarterback? It's not going to happen. You're not going to go to Kansas City and win with Kenny Pickett in his second year or even his third year. Barring them getting injured, you needed a guy to get you at that level right away, or you just wait, which is what the Steelers are going to do now. They're going to wait.
That's what upsets me even more with this wide receiver core, like minus Pickens. I see all these other wide receiver cores for the Chiefs, for Buffalo, for whatever, and they make all these great catches, and they're always getting open. And like, why? What the fuck? None of our wide receivers, minus Pickens, can do this.
It's coaching, bro. It's coaching.
It's just the strangest shit to me. I see all these guys. They're not first round picks. Not all these guys are first round picks. That are with the Chiefs and Buffalo and Miami and all this, But Miami, I mean, fuck, they went out and got.
Yeah, they went out and got some guys.
Yeah. Like, that's legit. But it's just, I watched the Chiefs game and I just sit there and I'm so fucking jealous. I'm just like, Jesus, who is that kid?
The play calling, dude.
Yeah. Oh, and that's the other thing. The play calling.
It's a big difference. It makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah. I mean, it's. Watching all the going in motion and the gadget play and like just the way they go about it, man, you really keep a defense on their toes. You really have no idea. It's so unpredictable.
Yep.
But
we keep getting back to that.
But you get to ours and it's like, yeah, they're definitely running the ball. And they sack 8 in the box. 9. I saw film the other day. They showed 9 guys in the fucking box.
And they ran.
I was like, wow, they're playing like cover 0.
Yep.
Like daring you to fucking
because they know the play call and they know that the audible's not really going to come. Kenny Pickett's called a few, but they're willing to risk it because it's few and far between.
But
the Steelers are so predictable,
dude. It was so bad. So it's like I see that and I'm like, man, this is sad. Like just seeing how predictable we are compared to these other teams. Sucks.
So I thought it'd be a fun exercise to take a look, just an early peek at the 2023 Steelers free agents, just to see who we want back, who we think might come back. And I'm looking at this list, dude. It's not a good list. Let me tell you the guy I think the most likely to come back, and it's still Cam Sutton's a free agent. There's no doubt the Steelers are going to want him back.
Yeah, don't want him back.
I don't think he'll command that much on free agent, so he'll probably be back. Larry Ogunjobi, what do you think of him?
Gone.
Yeah, I think gone too. Mason Rudolph gone. Devin Bush.
He's got to recoup the money he lost to the Bears deal.
Yes. He came here as a one-year rental. He's gone. Absolutely. Devin Bush.
Gone.
I think he's gone. Yep. Derek Watt. Please gone.
I want him gone. Yeah, go. Please.
Probably gone. Let's see who else we had here. Tyson Oluwalu, gone. Marcus Allen.
I got a feeling he's going to retire.
Yeah, probably. Marcus Allen, who cares? Probably gone. Robert Spillane.
Yeah. Gone.
Gone. Malik Reed, gone.
Gone.
Chris Wormley, maybe comes back on the cheap. He took a cheap deal this time.
I don't know. I don't know what he might do. He might go back to Baltimore. He's like, yeah, fuck this. I'm out. I'm going back to Baltimore.
Damani Casey, we don't even know because he hasn't played yet. So who knows?
Yeah, somebody brought up, I can't remember who it was. Maybe he'll be back this week. And I'm like, they haven't said a word about him. So I don't think he'll be back.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be back. Not this week.
No. I don't think so either.
Trent Scott, please. Who cares? Kyle Joseph, Ryan Anderson. They'll want Miles Boykin back. He's been excellent on special teams. Yeah. He's been really, really good. That's one guy they'll want back. Jameer Jones. I mean, this is what 30% of the roster that we couldn't even care less if they come back. We don't care. We're like, go. We don't give a shit. Benny Snell maybe comes back as a special teamer again. Who gives a fuck? JC Hassenauer. Goodbye. Now we're into restricted free agents, so they'll probably be back because the Steelers have their rights. James Pierre and Zach Gentry, both restricted free agents. So
I wish they weren't. Not Pierre. Pierre can go. I'm not impressed with him.
It's about 20 names. 20 names on this roster out of a 52-man roster. We could give two shits about. That's how bad it's gotten.
We don't care.
That's eye-opening. It's bad.
Yeah. Yeah, it's rough.
And to be honest, it's not a lot of cap space they're going to save.
No.
Like letting these guys go. It's not like you get rid of
because most of their cap is invested in guys that they put on the 2-year deal.
Yeah.
This is 2-year and the 3-year deal. Yep.
You ready to jump off the cliff yet? Because
it's not looking good.
Did I bring up Terrell Edmonds? Terrell Edmonds, he's an interesting. No. Terrell Edmonds is one I skipped over by mistake. I'm sorry.
No, I would bring him back.
I guess because you don't have to pay him much.
No, and he saw he had his chance. He saw the market. Nobody wanted to give him the money he wanted. So
and we see what happens when he's not there. Holy Christ!
Right. So like he's one of those guys where like they're not elite, but they're a part of that glue. Like when they're not there, shit comes apart. So I think it's because him and Minka, they work with each other so well and they understand each other so well. So you take him out, the whole fucking thing falls apart, as we've seen now for the last 2 weeks. So, I mean, dude, I firmly believe if he doesn't come out of that Jets game, we win that game.
You're probably right.
I'm dead serious. I think we win that game.
Just as a schematic, a guy who knows where he's supposed to be and is there.
It's assignments, communication, the whole thing. He's gone. Yeah. So now you're not going to communicate as well with each other. So it's going to go down the shitter. And that's exactly what happened.
But isn't he like the poster boy for what's wrong with this team right now? First round picks are supposed to be more than just assignment sound guys.
Sometimes I forget he was a first round pick. Yeah. I have to remind myself they picked him in the first round.
Him, Devin Bush, Najee Harris, 3 first round picks in the last 5 years who make, very little to no impact on this team from week to week. And that's a big problem with this team.
Yeah. a lot of misses. Or they're just not first round value.
No. Yeah. Edmonds, if he's a third round pick, you're doing cartwheels.
You're doing good. Yep.
But as a first round pick, you've missed badly. Devin Bush, I don't even know. Would you spend a third round pick on him? He's like a 5th round pick. The way he produces on it's not all doom and gloom. There are players to build around. It seems like Kenny Pickett's. I'm like almost there with Kenny Pickett. I need to see a few more games, but he looks like he could be something. He looks calm. He looks like he knows what he's doing. He's assertive. He's accurate.
No, he looks.
Kenny Pickett.
You know, Colin Cowherd today said that his sources told him that Pickett was really just a 2nd or 3rd round worth of a pick. And I think like what you said, if this was next year, maybe. But I think that out of all these quarterbacks, I think it's true. I think he was the most ready. And I think that's why he looks the way he does. I think he'll be a fine quarterback. I don't, do I think he'll be elite? Yeah. I'm not there yet. Do I think he'll be good?
Yeah.
Yes.
So can this coaching staff win with an pretty good quarterback and not an elite quarterback? Can they coach it up enough?
This coaching staff?
No. Yeah, no, right? No. They need a superstar at quarterback.
Yep.
And they need TJ Watt to stay healthy. That's the only way this team wins.
That's it, unfortunately.
So, we're going in circles, but that comes back to the CJ Stroud argument. And what do you do? And yeah.
If there's not a complete overhaul of that coaching staff, and he doesn't do that well or as well as they hoped, then yeah, they need to go get one of those guys if they're that close. But if he does really well, then and they make some changes, if they make the changes. But like I said, man, it's been a revolving door of shitty coaches on that offense. Mm-hmm. And that's why the wide receivers are not doing that well, minus Pickens. That's why the offensive line isn't doing well. That's why the offensive whole isn't doing well. I mean, I could even make an argument about the running backs. Maybe the running backs are not doing as well because what was it? Is it Kirby Wilson? They used to be did he leave after Bell?
The coach you're talking about?
Yeah, the halfbacks coach.
Yeah, I think it was after Bell. I'd have to go back and look at it, but
so I can make an argument that everyone since then has sucked for the running backs.
Oh yeah, I mean,
so
James Conner was pretty good, but he couldn't stay healthy. But even then, every run he had was a struggle. You could just see it.
I'm just saying, like, I can make an argument that every coach that has came in after all the ones that were there that were legit have sucked ass. And that's why the offense has been the way it's been for the last whatever. That's why none of these kids are panning out. Pickens is turning into a talent that can overcome.
Yeah, he's one of those guys, TJ Watt type, that has so much talent that it just overcomes everything. You're right.
To this day, I can't believe no one took that kid in the first round.
Well,
I get the knee.
He was a top 10 talent. It was the injury, and there was some immaturity concerns.
The fighting in game.
There was some concerns about him.
My God, dude, that kid, the catches he makes.
I don't care. In the second round, you do not. Any team in the second, you don't pass on him because of that. You take that talent, and you just roll the dice. That's a lot of dumb teams in that second round.
But
it's not like it can't work here in Pittsburgh. It can, but Mike Tomlin, this next offensive coordinator, because we all think Matt Canada's gone after the season. Mm-hmm. This next offensive coordinator is the most important decision he's maybe ever made as a Steelers coach. He needs to get this right. He can't screw it up again.
Right, but here's the thing: we're only 5 games in. We still got 12 more games to go. Canada could still get fired.
Yeah, I mean, I think the heat's gotten to the point now where if it keeps going off the rails, they're not going to have a choice.
Hear me out. All right. So we have lost every game going up to the bye week. You fucking fire Matt Canada. You now give, we'll say, Sullivan.
Has to be him.
2 weeks, right? Basically 2 Sundays, right?
Mm-hmm.
To prepare with the way he wants to run the offense. And then you face the Saints at home.
Yep. We talked about the second half of the schedule. It's a little easier. It's too late to probably salvage this season. It can make it more palatable, though. I mean, if you're 1-7, you're not making the playoffs, no matter if you bring Guy in to play offensive coordinator.
But you can salvage some games.
Yeah.
Get away from in my opinion, the coach is hampering the offense the most. And it might be the reason why these players are not giving their all or not taking this seriously or whatever the issues are. I think you get rid of him at the bye week.
Do we want this to happen, though, Dave? Do we want Pat Sullivan to do okay and then become the OC next year and
I don't
be the guy?
No, I don't want that.
I
want him to be just the interim offense coordinator. And then next year they find a real one. But and I know
they're
going to do some stupid shit or they're going to fucking be like, oh, this is it. This is the guy.
Yep.
Just like they've done with the offensive lines coach.
Yep.
Just like, in fact, if that one dude didn't leave that took Clem's place,
Yep.
He was going to be the guy. But he left. He was like, nah, I'm out. And left. So I don't know, man. Like, this is a shame that they're so fucking predictable that they just constantly.
Yeah. We said it last week. I would bet my life that Pat Sullivan is the next offensive coordinator of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Just because that's the way they do business. They promote. It's a comfort thing with Tomlin. He knows the guy. He's not willing to go out. He did it with Canada, but we talked about that. He was at Pitt for a while and he knew Canada. So he was comfortable with him. I don't know what he saw in Canada, to be honest with you. I don't know why he was a choice.
Hey, what did LSU see in him?
They fired him after one season, though, right?
Right.
Wasn't it one season? They just.
But what got?
Yeah, they
what
did
got
hire him.
them there?
Maybe he's a good interview. Maybe he's a good bullshit.
They joke that it was the one game. There was that one game between Pitt and Oklahoma, I think.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. Like, it was like a high scoring game back and forth. And they said that was like Matt Canada's most incredible game coaching ever or some shit like that. And that's the running joke. That's what got him hired. But
so I looked up offensive coordinators just for candidates, just to see what's out there. And the one article I found is really depressing. It was from 2022. And almost every good offensive coordinator candidate has been hired somewhere else already.
Yeah.
So gone. The guy there was one guy that went to the Giants, Kafka, who I think I said that to you. He was the quarterback's coach in KC. He's probably going to be a head coach pretty soon. He's with the Giants now. He's turned Daniel Jones into serviceable, which is a miracle in itself.
Yeah.
A couple other guys, they've all been hired. So now you got to start all over again. And I'm sure there's other guys out there, obviously, but will they hire them? Or were they just going to go the same direction? It's the most important decision Tomlin's made in a long time. He's got to get it right. That's all I have. You got anything else before we sign off for this week?
No, just
hate to leave on such a down note, but it's been a down week.
They've lost 4 games in a row, dude.
Yeah,
they suck.
Like smashed, to put in Tomlin's words.
Yes, smashed. And we're gonna, raise hell in December or something. Another one. Waiting to come.
The Tomlinisms are great when they're winning, but when they're losing, it's just flat out annoying.
Like period. I said, it's a hollow message, man. It's a hollow message. We knew, we all hoped he would do something, but we really knew he wasn't going to do nothing.
No. I guess, yeah. They don't fire coaches, so to hint at that was just a joke. The heat's going to have to be way harder than it is now for them to fire a coach. And what else are you going to do? You're going to put Trubisky back in?
Right. Well, I'm interested to see how much more Warren's involved.
He better be a lot more involved because it's not.
I'm sorry. He looked light years better than fucking Najee. I'm sorry. He did.
Even if it's just to give Najee a couple games off to get healthy, to get back to at least where he was last year.
We just want to see him get back to what he was last year. That's
he was no superstar last year, but he was a hell of a lot better than he is now.
Right.
So
so I would like to see some of that happen. I'd love to see Calvin Austin get a helmet finally.
There's a change you can make.
I would like to see Mark Robinson get a helmet.
Another one that could, make some kind of impact.
Yeah. Would like to see Sims get more involved in offense if he's not too busy being a pirate with his eye patch.
Yeah. Let's please put him in bubble wrap till the game starts. And then
something. Have him wear a mask or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like just a full mask. Just cover the whole thing, please. Yeah, but no, that's all I got, man.
All right, man. That's it for today. We'll probably get back together Friday night for a Tampa Bay preview. That ought to be fun. Tom Brady and company and that defense back coming up. And all right, you can find me on Twitter at SteelersThanks16. You can follow us on YouTube. We put every podcast out on YouTube. Steelers Sanctuary is the title there. I always forget to mention my blog. Check out my SteelersSanctuary.com. I just posted something today, and at least twice a week I post. Dave, you got your Twitter handle so we can get out?
Yeah, M_Corb.
All right, until Friday, thanks, and we'll talk to you then.